Discourse 13. September 18, 1937, New Bedford, Massachusetts. Beloved students of America, great is your privilege. Imperative is the need of your call to God, your mighty I Am presence, to release its power into the activity of the physical world, to give the assistance to mankind which is necessary today. The world, as you commonly use the term, is on the spot, before the great cosmic light. It will not tolerate longer mankind's tardiness, let us call it, in giving forth the assistance which is required today. If you have not known it before, you shall tonight. There is no destructive force in the earth or anywhere else which is not caused by human beings. The only place where the destructive force exists is upon your earth and in its atmosphere, which is known as the psychic or astral world. Make no mistake about it, in the psychic or astral world, which is but discordant human creation, there is no good thing, and there are no gradations of that octave of vibratory action. Everything of a destructive nature which is generated by mankind, is held within that octave from the surface of the earth up to approximately 7,000 feet. It is known as the astral or psychic world, in which humanity is compelled to move all the time unless, observe the chart, unless mankind will understand the I Am presence, the individualized presence of God, and call it into action to form about the outer self the tube of light, which can be made invincible to all surrounding discord. As individuals call the presence to do this, they will find themselves enveloped in a tube of invincible protection, in which they can move among mankind, untouched by discord. Students everywhere throughout America, who have been earnest and sincere and called the presence into action to produce the tube of light, have had its results. Mrs. Ballard and this good messenger have been compelled to call that into action in order to survive, and they have gone forth expanding the activity of the light, untouched by the discord of the outer world. So you too, beloved ones, if you will call the presence to formulate this tube of light about you, can do the same thing. It is a part of yourself. Observe the chart. Again, that stream of light and energy is you. When you call the presence into action, to formulate this tube of light about you, the higher mental body takes the radiance from your call up to the presence, which forms the tube of light and establishes it about you as definitely as a wall of steel. Remember, that light which comes from your presence is self-luminous, intelligent substance, from which everything in human form came forth or ever will come. Your experience in human forms, is but your life clothed in the more condensed discord of human feeling, through which that mighty light and energy is trying to expand perfection. Remember, the greater density, is caused by the discord which has generated in your feelings. Discord is the only thing which makes density of form. Once you free yourselves in your feeling world, which is as far as your hands extend around you, sometimes farther, from every discord and hold your world harmonious, you will find the powers of the presence flowing through, and perfection will reign in your world. Then, the limitless presence and supply of everything you need for your use, will come forth with the ease of breathing. It is the natural law of your being. You, through discord have closed the door, by giving power to the appearance world, which has not 1 ounce of power, so far as you or your world are concerned, except what is given it. How do you do it? By your attention upon the appearance of limitations, which feeds your life into it, to come back and limit you. Without your energy it could not touch your world, because it has to come into your world by your stream of life and energy, which goes out through the power of your attention. Beloved ones, remember, you have 3 faculties within your being, each one of which is all-powerful. Your attention, your visualization, which is your physical eyesight, and your power of qualification. That which is invisible to you, is the thing which plays the greatest havoc in your world, and it is your power of qualification. Because everything which comes into your world, must come through you into your world of activity. If your feeling is discordant, then it will carry whatever that discord is, into your world and produce of its kind. These are things which mankind has not understood, and the people have gone on, and on, feeding discord through their feeling. All the time their discord was being carried through this mighty current of energy out into their worlds, producing discord, chaos, limitation, and failure. I tell you, dear ones, no person on the face of this earth, who once becomes aware of the I Am presence, which beats each heart, who will give it sincere, earnest attention and call its powers into action, will ever find himself or herself in need of anything. Individuals will have omnipresent in their worlds for use, everything their hearts desire, and there is no exception to it. The feeling world of mankind, must be kept harmonious, so it no longer clothes with discord, this energy which flows from the presence and goes out into the world. That powerful energy will go out into your world and produce harmony and perfection everywhere. Then, everyone who touches your world will have the use of everything which is required. The human limitation within mankind has made the people feel, because they have forgotten the I am presence, that all is here within the human form, and its authority is the intellect. The people have felt it is what the individual sees out here, from which they must gather their power of achievement. Behold the chart. When so-called death ensues, observe the form which was active a moment before. It no longer has power, intelligence, nor action. Then, what happened? Where was that energy? Where was that activity? Where was that power, by which the human form acted a few moments before? Within the stream of energy which comes from the heart of God, your I am presence. Remember, dear hearts, that stream of light and energy is not just a principle, but it holds within it the intelligence, the power, the action which every human being is using and requires in order to have action. Then knowing that, how can any human being in the outer world claim power unto its intellect of itself? It has been the mistake of all mankind. Through intellectual attainment in all outer activities of life, law, medicine, music, where the individual through practice and application of the outer has attained a certain degree of mastery, it has claimed the power in those particular streams of activity, according to their understanding at the time. While their attention was on the outer things and the desire was acting, it was the power, intelligence, and activity of the presence which gave them whatever achievement they had. When the people understand this and know everything comes from the I am presence which gives them life, they will place the power where it belongs. They will be enabled to draw this power forth in a tremendously greater volume, and sweep out of their worlds every limiting discordant thing, which ever had been drawn there, even though the individuals physically were responsible for it. When one understands how to call on the law of forgiveness for all mistakes which have ever been made, it is one of the greatest things any individual can do. Then, you prove to the presence you want to be set right, you are not claiming powers which do not belong to your physical body, because all comes from your presence. When you call to your I am presence, acknowledging it as the only power, you will be able to release into your world of activity, from your life stream, this great power and energy which is without limit, exactly as we are able to wield it today. Think of those precious children, Bob, Rex, Nada, and Pearl, whom beloved Saint Germain brought to me in India at Shananda's home. There in the cave of blazing light, they were set free forever. Today, think of it, beloved ones. Those children made that long journey there physically. Today, I have come to you. Does it mean anything to you? It might sound like a childish question, but I say it for a reason, even to the former students. Does that mean anything to you? Everything in the world, precious ones. Try to follow me, just a few moments, in feeling what the power and release of our power of divine love means in your world. While the messenger is repeating my words to you, I stand here connecting myself with your heart, every one of you. Will you notice I do not ask your permission? Then I am enabled to render you a service which the outer could not possibly comprehend at the moment, but that, which I do for you will continue forever, until you, through your own call to the presence, set yourselves free. Dear ones, please use the terminology which we have given you. The words, I am, as written in English today, have come down from the beginning of mankind's appearance upon the earth. In the Royal Teton, on your map, known as the Grand Teton, there are the records of these civilizations, every one which has ever been on earth. In every language which was used during those many civilizations, the words, I am, as written in English today are there, showing those two words are the power of God. Mankind needs to learn to use those words, as we do. In any crisis, if the individual did not think of anything else just for the moment, and would say, I am, I am, I am, it would release the powers of the presence into action. Oftentimes it would perform a so-called miracle for him or her, then and there. That is the power of those two words, and there are no two words in the vocabulary of human experience, which release the power those two words do. The words, God, divine mind, divinity and all other terminology used to express the Godhead, do not contain the power the words I am do. That is the reason why beloved Saint Germain has brought this use of the I am forth to mankind at this time. It is the power which sets the people free. Why? Because it is their own life. Your mighty I am presence, your individualized presence of God which beats your heart, is your life, and your life contains everything which is for your perfection. Beloved ones, in that stream of light and energy from your presence, is everything required for the perfection of you and your world, and it is without limit. Only as you have felt limitation from the appearance world, have you limited yourselves. It is not the presence who has limited you. Today, you are in a position in this understanding of your presence, to set yourselves free in a comparatively short time. We have gone through the experiences of mankind. My experience, of course, was a long time ago. Beloved Saint Germain and those who have more recently made the ascension, for instance the children, Bob, Rex, Nada, and Pearl, have been able to set themselves free. The beloved Master, Jesus, left the example to mankind, but who believed it? Who was willing to try to fulfill it? Yet, he said, all these things I have done, ye shall do. Beloved ones, why is Saint Germain the one today, who was chosen by the great cosmic light, to bring forth this activity? Because the seventh ray, under which he is acting, compels him to be the one to bring forth the freedom of mankind. America being the crystal cup, which is the freedom of the earth, compels America to be the focal point of that freedom for the world. It is not a matter of anyone's choice. It is a law, a great cosmic law, which has made Saint Germain the active individual for our freedom. It is the cosmic law which has made America the cup to release the light of the future. Think of it, in India, where so great a light has been among a few, yet the great mass of people in India are bound far worse than you are. Why? Because the teaching which has come forth in the past has taught the people of India meditation, in which hundreds and thousands of them sit down in a posture, and release themselves from the body and go out into samadhi. They do go into that exquisite realm or octave of light, but what good is it doing? The need, today, is to bring our perfection down into the human octave, where mankind has created the discord, and to produce perfection here. Unless mankind understands the I am presence, there is no hope of ever bringing that perfection in its fullness into the physical octave, where it is required to set mankind free. It is why, today, there is no knowledge in the whole world, which can do for mankind what the understanding of this mighty I am presence can do for you. I say to you as the messengers have said time and time again, whether you ever heard of the messengers again or not, if you will give your attention to your own God presence, the mighty I am, and harmoniously abide within it, by the very power of your attention to it. You would not need anyone in the world to tell you the power of life, or how to bring your own God presence forth into action. It is the only way mankind is to be free in this world. Today, the greatness, the power, with which you can set yourself free in this acknowledgement, is unparalleled in the history of the earth, and I say this, as one who knows, one who has followed civilization after civilization through centuries without number. Beloved people, I plead with you, do not accept for one single moment more, there is such a thing as death in this universe. There never was and never will be. What seems to be so, is but the change of form. When the body is cast aside, the energy which comes through the top of your head and anchors within your heart, simply disconnects and withdraws into the higher mental body of the individual, who is reasonably constructive. Between your human form and your God self, your mighty I am, is your higher mental body, a form just as tangible in its own octave, as your flesh body is here. It is your discriminating selective intelligence which acts with the power of the presence. It knows the perfection which the presence is, and knows the imperfection which you have drawn about you, but will not accept it into its own world. When you call to your presence, the great law and power of the universe is set into action to fulfill your command, your decree, and it cannot fail. It is impossible. If it seems to, it is only because your human doubts and fears have rushed in, with such power they have carried their qualities into your feeling and out into your world to produce more of their kind. It is why we say to you, if you will harmonize your feeling and maintain harmony, then call your I am presence into action. There is not a thing in the world it will not produce for you, not one thing. There is no power to resist your presence in the world. All the human beings in the world have no power against your presence. All the limitations in your world have no power, except the power which you give them through your attention. Will you believe that and set about it once, to set yourselves free in the acknowledgement of your presence? Because you have made mistakes, is no reason you should longer live in them. It is quite within your own choice. You can be free, if you will. If you believe what I say, you can be free in no time. If you will not believe it, then you will have to go on in your limitations. One day, beloved ones, you will realize we do not talk to hear ourselves. We are far beyond exploitation, but we love mankind with a love which the human cannot yet understand. Because we see the light within mankind expanding to the power and point, where the people can be given this unlimited assistance which we are offering, and they shall have it. When I have come into these classes, seeing the need of mankind and the service I could render, seeing, feeling, and hearing the call of those beloved students throughout America, it would melt a heart of stone. Sometimes in the secret of their own chamber, such a call goes out from their hearts, it would melt a stone. Then do you think for one moment, I would not respond to that and give the assistance those blessed beings require, to set them free, as quickly as possible, from all they have accumulated throughout the centuries? Don't make any mistake. I am no disembodied spirit speaking. I am a cosmic being, who knows no limitation. I wield power which with a wave of my hand could lift this building and cause it to float in the air. That is what it means, in my coming to render this assistance to mankind. Let whoever wants to, believe it or not, as they like. One day, not so far distant, beloved ones, you will begin to see the power of the infinite light, manifested upon earth once again, as it did 800,000 years ago. Human beings in their human sense of time, have so limited themselves in believing all there is in existence, is within the scope of the human vision. If it were, it would be a travesty upon the activity of the universe. You, who might be here for the first time, be kind enough to take one of those charts, either in the book or the single chart, and hold it before yourself every night before you retire. Speak to the I am presence, represented in the chart, which beats your heart. Continue with kindliness and earnest desire, to have and know the truth, and tell me in 6 months, if you do not have the proof within yourself of what that presence is to you. This is a law and an understanding which every human being can prove to himself or herself, if each one will. If people do not want to, it is quite their own affair, but we are calling to the people of earth, who want to be free, who will set aside all human concepts of what they suppose might be, and enter into this stream of light. Call the presence into action and have the proof within themselves. The only thing which amounts to anything is God, the mighty I Am. Presence. It is their instantaneous freedom from the mistakes of the human creation of earth. It is within the reach of every one in this understanding. Beloved ones, I must offer a word to you, tonight, concerning that magnificent being, the ascended Master, Saint Germain, who has brought to you this magnificent understanding. Remember, Saint Germain said to me in the beginning, he would try this out, and I said to him, do you think you can find some strong enough in the outer world of mankind, to stand against what will be forced and focused at them, if they undertake to spread this light? He said, I think I can. Then, the beloved Nada and Lanto, who is in charge of the retreat at the Royal Teton, were the only ones who stood with beloved Saint Germain, in his feeling it could be done. Saint Germain knew, because he had looked into the life stream of the messengers, who were once his children, and saw that with their obedience, it could be done. It has been done, thanks to his wondrous presence. Dear people, out of the humble efforts of the messengers, more than 300,000 people in America and the world, today, are having their freedom, in 3 short years. This is what I want you to understand, if you will, no matter what your mistakes have been, there is not a thing which cannot be remedied, if you will call on the law of forgiveness. Call your I Am presence into action, to dissolve and consume every discordant thing. Then you can have your freedom. You do not longer have to live in the limitations and mistakes you have made in the past. Remember to observe the chart. You see there represented, the tube of light and the violet consuming flame. No human being on this earth can be free from his or her own human creations, unless each one will call his or her own God presence to establish the tube of light about that one. Then call the violet consuming flame within it, to pass from the feet up through the physical body, and that one's mental and feeling world, like a great blowtorch, which gives you the feeling and sense of accomplishment. It will dissolve and consume every discordant thing which has ever been drawn about you. Every individual can do this, who will. It is how Mr. and Mrs. Ballard, the messengers, have been enabled to carry this activity forward, because they move within that tube of light. Twice a day, they use the violet consuming flame to keep every discordant thing dissolved, which had ever been accumulated through their activities and embodiments. Whether you believe it or not, you have lived hundreds and perhaps thousands of embodiments similar to this. If that startles you, I would just rest in it a while. It is true. Suppose you have lived thousands of embodiments similar to this. Necessarily the mistakes may have been many and great. Then think of the mercy of the great law, the light of God, the mighty I Am Presence, which has provided a means, by which in a few weeks or months, you can dissolve and consume the cause of every discordant thing, which has ever been accumulated about you through the centuries. Dear people, no such thing was ever known in the history of the world, as this opportunity which stands before you today. Now understand, we are wholly unconcerned who believes or who does not. We present the law to mankind. All may use it, if they will. If they won't, they will continue on in their limitation and distress, but the opportunity is here, to call forth this law into action and be free from everything that distresses you in any manner whatsoever. It does not mean you can just say, now here, mighty I Am Presence, you can do this, then you run along and do anything you please. It means you are compelled to give obedience to this great presence in the light, which is, first, harmony in your feeling, then call its powers into action, then cease the old human habits, which have charged your world with discord and imperfection. That means, now hold tight to your chairs, dear hearts, all destructive habits must cease from your life. It means the sex activity must cease, which is not for procreation of your kind. It means tobacco must go in all its forms. It means all intoxicants must go in all their forms. It means all dope must cease from the earth forever. It means that every human being who listens to agitation of any kind, whether it be communism or whether it be the unions, is depriving that one of freedom. Let me just for a moment call your attention to the need of the world today. In every civilization which has ever been, the same thing has occurred over and over again, always ending in the destruction of the civilization, by this same element which is called communism and the strike agitators in the world. Their destruction drives in and stirs mankind up to where it has no governing intelligence, and the destruction becomes so great in the world, that people destroy themselves, and those who do not destroy themselves are destroyed by each other. Look at the Orient today. Look in Spain. Dear people, if you saw all actually taking place there today, you would not care to look the second time. Why have we come from our great cosmic activities, to try to help mankind understand the need of today? Because America is the cup of light to the world, and to prevent this destruction coming into your America. Dear people, unless enough of mankind make this call to the presence, that same thing will sweep your America. As you may know, if you care to observe today, the destructive element is unparalleled in the Orient, for no quarter is given men, women, or children of any kind. Everything is destroyed, before the onrush of its destructive power. That is what we are trying to prevent coming into your blessed America. Why do we give this assistance to America? Because America must be the cup of light for the world, if it is to exist. Because in a previous time it was the cup of light. It has come again into a cycle where it must be the cup of light now, or the world will not survive. Dear ones, the proof is before anyone of mankind who cares to look. In the call of the beloved, I am, students of America today, the service rendered had been unparalleled in the history of the earth, which proves enough of mankind are calling. We are nearing that point, where the power of the presence, the light of God, will again rule upon earth, and bring its mighty activity into dominion. This is how we know what is required, and what will bring the dominion of the light and its perfection on earth. So today, if you care to give assistance, the power of your presence will answer your call. These blessed ones here have so marvelously and faithfully been issuing these mighty decrees, for the blessing and freedom of America and Europe, as you have heard them tonight. Can any of mankind render so great a service to their fellow beings across the earth, as those mighty decrees issued for the freedom of Europe, Asia, and the Orient from the ravages of war? There is only one power, one presence in the universe, which is the solution of these things, whether it be for the individual or the nation. That is the power of God, the mighty I Am Presence, called into action. Notice, this is a wholly different activity, from anything you have known before, because in the recognition of your own individual God presence, the mighty I Am, which you can call into action, a power is released 1,000 times greater than anything which can be released in thinking of God as an omnipresence. That is why this activity produces such powerful results in the life of the individual. It is the only permanent solution of anything there is, and if enough of humanity will call, the solution of the many problems in the city, the state, the nation will be released, and their conditions will be solved by this light of God. Remember, as the blessed brother said tonight, as you go forth, you will receive Washington's vision. The third episode referred to there is the thing we are trying to prevent. Remember, that great being, the goddess of liberty, whom one day you shall know, said to him, if necessary, the light as of 1,000 suns would descend into the earth, and dissolve all human selfishness and discord from the planet. That is the law. That will be done. The great Arcturus in his dictation used almost identically the same words. If it were not for the release of our great light, there would not be a hope for humanity today. Is there anyone in this room who actually feels this which is occurring in China today could not come into your city? Do not make that mistake. You do not know how soon it could come, and in the use of destructive powers today, in 15 minutes, the largest city in America could be destroyed. You are facing a mighty crisis. Do not look upon it lightly, I plead with you. When I said to you, we do not talk to hear ourselves, I want you to remember it, but we are trying to strengthen and encourage you, to give forth such a powerful call to your I Am presence, and release such a power of its activity, that this service can be rendered to mankind and the earth. This help can be given, if enough call. We are free. We are in no danger, but you are. Then, will you join us in all the powers of your being, to make the call to your own God presence, the mighty I Am, to release such power into the earth? None of these things dare enter your world of America. We always take advantage of the opportunities, such as Constitution Day. We observed among mankind that which gives us the greatest rejoicing possible. When those great parades went like a river through the streets of the city, Boston, and we saw the people in lines on either side, when that wondrous flag came forth, raise their hats to their flag, then we knew the heart of America was not asleep. Then we knew in the heart of every human being is a love for that flag, which represents freedom to the earth. Remember, dear hearts, the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor represents a great cosmic being, who will one day release her power into the earth and assist mankind. Today, our assistance from every conceivable angle is coming in to bless mankind and the earth. Will each of you with us go down in the records of the earth, as one who loved his fellow man enough to call to his own God presence so powerfully, it would release those powers which protected them and set them free? We are making the call for you, but we had no power to do that, until beloved Saint Germain brought your attention to your authority, your ability, your power of the mighty I Am presence. Then, we began to release more and more power of the cosmic light to assist you. As it goes on, one day, you shall know the truth of every word that the messengers have spoken to you, in behalf of America and her freedom, and the glory of God which shall again reign upon earth. The light of God never fails, in anything. You are that light which beats your heart. Your heart is the light of God that never fails, in anything. I thank you,